Hi everyone, Marta here from Calgary Real Estate and Royal LePage Solutions, coming to you live from our office again. So it's been 7 days since I've been on here, and I thought I owe it to you guys to hop on again and give you another update. Last week, if you recall, I talked about the starting points of the virus, what was happening in Canada in particular, how Canada was reacting to it. And of course, I touched a little bit in regards to real estate and what we were being asked to do and consider in terms of continuing to conduct our business in real estate. So since then, lots of things have changed. Everything's changing by the hour, by the day, by the week. And I thought, you know what? I started doing this, so I might as well continue and keep you in the loop in a similar fashion each week. So somebody's got to do the job, right? So why not? I'm going to start today by talking about the changes to the numbers in the coronavirus here in Canada. I'm going to go across each province just like I started last week. Second, I'm going to dive more directly as to what I'm seeing happening in our market in comparison to last week. So as you recall, I was still saying business is going to probably continue. It's going to slow down, but eventually, we will see an end and things are going to get back to normal at some point. My thoughts have changed slightly as I'm seeing, the issues that are coming up, but I'll get to that next. So the third thing I'm going to speak to is the challenges we are currently facing in our business. Fourth, I'm going to answer the question I received yesterday from one of my client friends who asked if I think this corona stuff is going to cause our market to tank. I think that's on everybody's mind right now. Like, what's happening to my house? I just bought it. Or, what is going to happen to the values? And some things we can't answer for sure because nobody can predict the future and how fast we're going to be dealing with things, how fast this virus is going to get contained, how fast people are going to get back to work. But I can only speak to right now what I'm seeing currently in the market. And obviously, these are all just my own thoughts and opinions. If you have other ones, feel free to share, challenge me on them. I'm open to the discussions. Depending who you talk to, you're going to hear different stories. So that goes for every realtor, and some are just keeping quiet, which is okay because nobody knows what's happening. Everyone's dealing with this all at once. But I'm here to state kind of my own conclusions as I'm seeing them and my own, I don't want to say predictions because we can't do predictions, but what we're seeing and what I feel is resulting as we go. So it is going to be all based on facts and, I'm here to share. I'm not sugarcoating. I am just here to give you the information that I know. Number 5, last but not least, I'm going to share with you how the government of Canada has reacted this week and what they have planned to roll out to help us in this situation that is unprecedented for everybody all over the world. So last week, I talked about, like I said, the starting points of the virus. Let's get to the numbers, okay? Let's get down to it and see the difference. So on March 12th, last Thursday, there were a total number of 138 cases across Canada and 3 probable ones for the coronavirus. All across Canada, there was 1 person that had died of COVID-19. In British Columbia, there was 46 confirmed cases at that time, 19 in Alberta, 1 probable in Saskatchewan, 1 probable in Manitoba. Ontario had 59, Quebec had 13, New Brunswick had 1 probable, and repatriated Canadians had 1. So 138 plus 3. And the microbiology test. I'm fascinated about this because I'm trying to figure out how many people are going through these things. And the total number tested was 707 individuals. 23 of those were tested as positive across our country. So it didn't seem that bad, right? I'm telling you, real estate is still continuing. It's not going to come to a halt. Everything's going to be fine. And it is going to be fine. Oh, somebody's calling me. But it's going to take some time. It's going to get a little bit crazier before it gets fine, okay? So in comparison, this week, 7 days later, we have a total of 736 confirmed cases across Canada plus 34 probable. This is as of 11:30 a.m. this morning. So there could be more cases that are not being considered at this moment because it is 10:41 at night. So British Columbia went from 46 cases to 231. Alberta jumped 100 cases or so to 119 from only 19. Saskatchewan has grown to 14 from 1 in terms of probable cases, and then 2 confirmed, so they're at 16 in total. Manitoba went from 1 probable case to 15 confirmed. Ontario went from 59 cases to 257. Quebec went from 13 confirmed cases to 94. New Brunswick went from 1 probable to 2 confirmed, 9 probable. Repatriated Canadians went from 0 to 1 confirmed. We also have now Newfoundland and Labrador. They have 1 confirmed case, 2 probable. Nova Scotia has 5 confirmed cases, 9 probable. Prince Edward Island has 1 confirmed case, 0 probable. Yukon has 0. Northwest Territories has 0. Nunavut has 0. Repatriated travelers, they are now at 9. And the crazy part, the crazy comparison is the microbiology. So guess what it is at right now? 7 days later. I should say 7. It went from 707 people being tested last week as of Thursday with 23 positive tests, and we are now at 53,975 tests conducted across Canada with 611 being positive. That is happening. We've also had more deaths, unfortunately. 9 people across Canada have died of COVID-19 since last week. Sorry, I should say 8 since last week because 1 died last week, unfortunately. So, I mean, condolences to the families of everybody that is, being caught in this and having to go through it. Our hearts are with you. And I guess, what do you say, right? What do you say? It's just happening, and, it is very unfortunate. So the next thing I have set out to talk about is to dive more directly as to what I'm seeing happening in our market in comparison to last week. And so I'm just going to hop on quickly and look at the numbers. Last week, on Thursday, on March 12th, I looked at what happened 24 hours prior, and we had at that time 59 sales that took place. Today, as of March 19th, we have had 62 sales confirmed. What you have to remember, however, is that everything is delayed about 7 to 10 days prior. So these solds that are being announced and confirmed actually came into agreement 7 to 10 days beforehand because they would have become conditional sales at that point. They would have gone through their qualification processes, and they would have to get their financing in place and approved by a mortgage broker. Since last week, lots of things have changed. So as we progress with each week, I believe we're going to see the numbers dwindle. And that's why I think it's important for me to keep on doing this and keeping you informed. So within the past week, right now, we have had 482 sales take place. So since last Thursday, that is the total sold. In comparison to the week before, there were 506. So the numbers have dwindled down a little bit, but as you can see, the market is still going. It hasn't come to a halt yet. Whether it does or not, we're going to see within the upcoming weeks. Last week I was very positive. I said, it's not going to come to a halt. People's lives change. They need to keep on doing things, and, houses always need to be sold. There's always buyers, but as I'm seeing things progress, my mind is changing. And of course, these are all just my opinions. Feel free to challenge me on them or tell me otherwise. I'm always open to hearing. The third thing I'm going to talk about next is I'm going to speak to the challenges we are facing and why I am not as, positive about not seeing things stop. And this is why. Okay, we've got challenges of open houses and showcasing the properties. Sure, we can do virtual open houses, but really, are we actually going to be proceeding on purchases right now? As a consumer, as a buyer, you've just lost your job or been, laid off temporarily. Are you thinking about doing a $500,000 purchase right now? Or are you worried about your survival? That is my point. Showings, same thing. We have challenges with showings because when you do showings, we are entering multiple properties at the same time. So it is a health risk from both sides. If you are the seller, you have to worry about the people coming into your house. Can we ask them all the questions? Yes, we have lists provided to us by the real estate board where we have to check mark, all the typical questions they want us to ask. How, have you traveled in the past 2 weeks? Have you had the virus? Is there anyone around your house that has had the virus? Are people going to be truthful? What about the ones that don't even know that they have it, right? I think it poses a lot of risks. So I feel that, this is going to greatly impact our ability to showcase our homes. Can we do it on video? Yes, but is somebody going to be buying a house and spending $500,000 just on a video? No, it's not going to happen. So open houses, showings, purchases, and legalities. Those are kind of the 4 things that we are facing right now. So obviously, people's health and safety is number 1 before any business. I don't want my sellers getting sick. I don't want my buyers getting sick. I don't want to be getting sick. I got 2 children to survive, 4. But also purchases. So there are sales happening, as I just explained and showed. However, there are also deals falling apart right now this week. And I'm basing this information based on what I'm hearing on forums from other realtors, the discussions I'm having with, top agents in our country. And they are having, sellers take their listings off the market. We are seeing deals fall apart where somebody has come to an agreement and all of a sudden they are laid off, their income status changes, and the banks are not lending them the money. So are we going to see more of that? Of course. Is everybody going to be impacted? No, but the majority of people are, which is going to affect our real estate market. Legalities goes back to this COVID-19, and there's a few different things. Like I said, people being exposed to the virus. Is it too much of a risk right now for you to do an open house? Is it too much of a risk right now for you to go and see houses? Those are questions I can't answer for you, but I'm sure they're on everybody's mind. And these are things we have to speak to all our clients. But for you in the end to decide. But also in terms of legalities is, the aspect of the latent defects. And material latent defects speak to disclosing issues that aren't, revealable to the eye. So as a buyer, for example, a material latent defect could be something that could influence your decision in having a purchase on a house. And this could be, interesting things. For example, let's say a house is haunted. This is a matter up for debate, right? A house is haunted. Is that going to influence your decision to purchase the home if you feel that the house is haunted, or somebody states that it is, or it has been mentioned in the news sometime? Would that alter your decision to proceed on the property? So there's legalities in regards to that. That's just one example, and that's obviously going to change. Some people are superstitious, some people don't care, right? They don't believe in that stuff. And for some people, culturally, it's very important. Also, things like, whether somebody has committed suicide in the house or did that happen naturally. Those are material latent defects, because there are things that could matter to a buyer culturally or individually in making a decision on the purchase of that home. And these are things you should be discussing with your realtor if they are of importance to you. So with regards to COVID-19, the question that I have for you is, if you learned that the house that you purchased had somebody in it with this virus, would this change your mind on the purchase of the home? I think with long term, of course, it's not going to matter as much because everything's going to die out. But as of right now, let's say somebody had been isolated for 14 days and they were positive and they've been repatriated or whatever, and now they're free of it. Are you going to be a little hesitant to move into this house because it has contained that? Like, there's lots of, questions still in regards to this all. So these are some ways that I am feeling the impact, and the questions that are going to arise. What are we supposed to do as realtors? We're supposed to ask the questions from both sides. But, there's always risk. Are people telling the truth? Are they even aware whether they have the virus? You just don't know. It could be sitting dormant. I think personally it's too risky to do the open houses for ourselves, to do them for our clients, to have buyers go through the properties. But everybody's going to speak to themselves. There's tons of realtors still taking listings. There's tons of realtors doing virtual tours. I'm not convinced right now that the sales are going to be happening with everything that's happening around, even from an investment standpoint. Yes, the, qualifications and the mortgage rates are insane right now. Such great opportunities to purchase. If you have the money, it's definitely a great time to consider locking yourself in for an amazing rate that you'll probably not see for a long time. But could this even go lower? That is the next question. You see the US going even lower. Should you be waiting and seeing what happens? Or should you be locking yourself in? I don't know. If I was an investor, I'd be waiting, right? So I can't tell you what to do, but that is my opinion. And that's why I think we are going to see more of a slowdown than we have anticipated. There's just lots of moving parts. So that leads me to the question that I received, right, from my client friend who said, Marta, do you think this coronavirus is going to tank our market? Let me see. Let me pull up her exact question. Do you think this corona stuff is going to cause the market to tank? And my answer is simple. And my answer is that yes, I believe it's going to tank temporarily and is in fact coming to a complete halt for a period of time. Even though right now, as of today, it's not at a halt, I'm just saying I do see it coming to a stop because there's just too many factors at play that need to be dealt with. Number one, we have to gain control over this virus. We have to contain it. We have to stop it. We have to ensure everybody's safety. That is number one. Whether we like it or not, the business, it just cannot continue the way we've been able to do it. There are other means that we can take. Yes, there are precautions, but it is too risky right now for everybody if this is such a, deadly virus as it's being made out to be. It will also likely take longer for things to pick up, I tell her, than we hope, and only once everything is under control, which we are at least a month to 3 away from still. Everything is happening very quickly right now and crashing already before our eyes. That's my opinion, because I'm seeing the deals fall apart. They're not falling apart as badly as, we would think either, but they are still falling apart, some of them. I'm already seeing things happen with scenarios and confirmed deals where people have come to an agreement on a sale and are not being able to proceed last minute because lenders check their employment status, and it has changed this week. Unfortunately, it could be a longer than we hope for temporary halt because there are so many more moving parts than just the virus challenges surrounding the challenges right now. Lots has to do with lenders, lending qualifications, the impacts of job losses, the increased loads of debt to all over these next few months. These are going to likely affect many buyers' criteria in the upcoming months that would have to be met in order to qualify to be approved for a mortgage in the months to come. For some, it won't be as big of an issue, but for many, it will take them out of the buying market for some time. It depends on jobs and how fast we can get people back to some more work stability. It will also depend on lenders and the lending criteria they set out moving forward from here. So that is my answer. I do anticipate that we are going to have a complete halt within our industry. Obviously, I am not a fortune teller, and that's why I want to keep on hopping on here every week to keep an eye out and let you know what's going on. But that is my opinion. It would be, crazy if it didn't. I would love it if it didn't come to a halt, but I feel that that's what's going to happen with time. And it's going to be temporary. It's not going to be forever. Things are going to pick up eventually, and we are going to be so busy once this is all over. There's going to be not enough of us, once people stabilize, get back into their jobs, and they recognize the amazing deals that are going to be out there and the interest rates that they're going to be able to take advantage of that will never present themselves again in their lives. So there is good that's going to come out of this, but we are still a long ways away. So expect for me to jump on here every week. And last but not least, I would like to speak to the Government of Canada's reaction this week and what they have planned out. So there is a lot of things that the government is trying to do to help with this scenario. It's different, across every state, every country, every province. So for some, this could be interesting. I'm going to go over the latest stimulus package that got announced yesterday. This is what is planned for Canada. So number one, short-term support for individuals under the emergency care benefit. So as of March 15, 2020, the Government of Canada has waived the 1-week waiting period for individuals to claim employment insurance sickness benefits. otherwise known as EI. Okay, so that's what I'm going to refer to. The government also waived the requirement to provide a medical certificate to access EI. Starting in April, the Government of Canada will introduce the emergency care benefit by providing up to $450 per week to self-isolate, quarantine yourself, take care of loved ones, even if you don't qualify for employment insurance. This will be up to 15 weeks. So this is important because a lot of self-employed people, obviously, we can't qualify for employment insurance. So they are making adjustments to help those that don't qualify. Those who qualify include self-employed individuals who are in quarantine or sick with COVID-19, workers who are in quarantine or sick with COVID-19, those taking care of a family member with COVID-19, parents with children who require supervision, who are unable to earn employment income. Benefits are going to be available starting early April. Number 2, long-term support for individuals under the Emergency Support Benefit and EI Sharing Program. Starting in early April, the Government of Canada will be implementing the EI Work Sharing Program to provide EI benefits to those who have reduced working hours as a result of COVID-19 and extending the eligibility of such agreements to 76 weeks, along with easing the requirements and streamlining the application process. Support for families is number 3, goods and services tax credit, and Canada Child Tax benefits. The Government of Canada is proposing a one-time special payment for families who may require additional help with their finances. This payment will go through GSTC and the child payment will go through CCB. Close to $400 for single individuals, close to $600 for couples, close to $300 per child. These payments will be made by early May 2020, which is crazy. Like, we are in March 19th. You want people to be waiting till May. I don't know. Number 4, support for seniors, registered retirement income funds, reducing required minimum withdrawals from RRIFs by 25% for 2020, OAS and GIS payments to continue as usual. They also announced support for Indigenous communities, providing $305 million for a new distinctions-based Indigenous Community Support Fund to address immediate needs in First Nations, Inuit, and Métis Nation communities. Number 6, Canadian student loan payments have been scheduled to have 6-month interest-free on student loan paybacks. So that is automatic. That's what's happening right now. Number 7, support for shelters, providing the Reaching Home Initiative with $157.5 million to continue to support people experiencing homelessness during the COVID-19 outbreak. They are also going to be providing up to $50 million to women's shelters and sexual assault centers, including funding for facilities in Indigenous communities. Number 8, tax deferral. Personal taxes, the Government of Canada will be deferring the filing due date for the 2019 tax returns of individuals, including certain trusts. So there's different dates. For individuals, the return filing due date will be deferred until June 1st, 2020. For trusts having a taxation year ending on December 31st, the return filing date will be deferred until May 1st, 2020. The Canada Revenue Agency will allow all taxpayers to defer until August 31st, 2020, the payment of any income tax amounts that become owing on or after today and before September 2020. Business taxes. The Canada Revenue Agency will allow all businesses to defer until August 31st, 2020, the payment of any income tax amounts that become owing on or after today and before September 2020. For the vast majority of businesses, the Canada Revenue Agency will temporarily suspend audit interaction with taxpayers and representatives. Business wage subsidy. The Government of Canada will support businesses that are facing revenue loss with a subsidy equal to 10% of remuneration paid during that period, up to a maximum subsidy of $1,375 per employee and $25,000 per employer. People that are eligible are nonprofit organizations, charities, and corporations eligible for the small business deduction. The government is also granting business credit availability program. $10 billion is being directed via the Business Development Bank of Canada, the BDC, and the Export Development Canada, EDC, to help businesses get financing needed to keep operating. Number 10, Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions is lowering the domestic stability buffer by 1.25% of risk-weighted assets, effective immediately. This action will allow Canada's large banks to inject $300 billion of additional lending into the economy. Number 11, Bank of Canada. The Bank of Canada cut the interest rate to 0.75% as a proactive measure in light of the negative I'm in stock world. In light of the negative shocks to Canada's economy arising from COVID-19 pandemic and the recent sharp drop in oil prices. Number 12, Business Credit Availability Program, BCAP for short, will allow the BDC and EDC to provide more than $10 billion of additional support, largely targeted to small and medium-sized businesses. If you are already a BDC client and haven't done so, please contact your contact manager. Number 13, Insured Mortgage Purchase Program. The government will purchase up to $50 billion to allow payment deferrals and special payment arrangements. Number 14, Canadian banks. The Big Six Canadian banks announced on March 17th that they will work with personal and small business clients on a case-by-case basis to cope with the economic fallout of the coronavirus. This includes introducing mortgage payment deferrals of up to 6 months and relief on other credit products for customers facing hardship. The banks also slashed prime rates following the Bank of Canada's rate cuts. The current benchmark rate is 2.95%, reduced by 100 basis points from its previous 3.95%. 15, I think it's lower right now too, but you'd have to contact your mortgage broker. I can't speak on qualifications and what the rates are. Right now, they are the most up-to-date and they are licensed. So make sure you contact your brokers and ask them on the details on that, okay? 15, Alberta government's financial assistance, emergency isolation support is being contributed $50 million. These are temporary programs for working Albertans who must self-isolate because they meet the government of Alberta's published criteria for self-isolation and will not have another source of pay or compensation while self-isolating. This will be made in one payment to help bridge the gap until federal emergency payments begin in April. Application will open the week of March 23rd, 2020. If you need all these links to all these places, please feel free to email me directly, marta@royallepage.ca. I'd be happy to forward you these sheets because everything has a direct contact. Next is utility payment holiday. Residential, farm, and small commercial customers can defer bill payments for the next 90 days. Student loan repayment holiday. The government will implement a 6-month interest-free moratorium on Alberta student loan payments for all individuals who are in the process of repaying these loans. Banks and credit unions ATB Financial. Personal banking customers can apply for a deferral on their ATB loans, lines of credits, and mortgages for up to 6 months. Small business customers, in addition to payment deferrals on loans and lines of credit, will be provided access to additional working capital. For other business and agricultural customers, ATB will work with customers on a one-on-one basis, and further solutions are being considered at this time. Employers, the government will defer the collection of corporate income tax balances and installment payments due after today until August 31st, 2020. Albertan seniors and vulnerable groups. Charitable and nonprofit groups will immediately receive an additional $60 million to support seniors and other vulnerable populations disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Healthcare for Albertans. The government of Alberta has committed $500 million extra this year to respond to the public health crisis and to support frontline health professionals working to keep Albertans safe and healthy. Corporate income tax changes. Corporate income tax balances and installment payments will be deferred from March 19th until August 31st to increase employers' access to cash so they can pay employees, address their debts, and continue operations. Job protected leave. Changes allow full and part-time employees to take 14 days of job protected leave if they are required to self-isolate or are caring for a child or dependent adult that is required to self-isolate. Employees will not require a medical note and do not need to have worked for an employer for 90 days. This may be extended if the advice of Alberta's Chief Medical Officer changes, and this does not apply to self-employed individuals or contractors. Vacation pay leave or banked overtime. Employees can request using their vacation pay or banked overtime, but employers are not required to grant the request. Provincial employment rules only require employers to provide vacation pay, vacation leave, or pay banked overtime within a year of it being earned. Employers can request employees voluntarily take vacation leave and or use their vacation pay or banked overtime, but they cannot force them to do so under provincial employment rules. And that is pretty much it. That is my summary for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you do have any questions, please feel free to connect with me anytime. You can email me, marta@royallepage.ca, or call me at 403-667-7220. Let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you are all doing great and surviving this craziness. I'm right there in this with you, and I look forward to better times. So stay tuned. I'll be hopping on next week again, and I'll let you know what I know then. Okay? Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.